Good evening. It's a late night broadcast. So if you're watching this in the morning, I forgive you. You should probably sleep by now when I do this. This is my daily Facebook Live message, and I'm doing it before midnight, just in time, as I commit to doing these every day. Before I get started with this topic, let me start with my introduction and, of course, what we're doing here. My name is Barry Selby. This is... I am a... It's a late night. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert, helping strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. I'm also a passionate champion for the divine feminine, and tonight had a very wonderful evening, which I'll get to in a second. So let me just explain. This is messages from the masculine to inspire the feminine heart. I do these every day. These are my daily Facebook Live talks. This is number 243. Yes, I've done a few of these now. And by the way, before I get into it, I'll tell you can find all of these on my business page on Facebook, because they tend to be the only thing I post on my business page right now. So you see all of those listed. You can scroll through them there. These also go on YouTube at some point, so you'll find them on my YouTube channel, which is Barry Selby, under the Messages from the Masculine playlist. And you can also find them on my website, which is barryselby.com / well, actually, if you go to the video blog, you can find them all there, plus all my other stuff on my website too. Tonight, in this moment, this is Messages from the Masculine number 243, and the topic tonight is entitled "How do we connect in the Time's Up and metoo era?" This is one of the questions that was presented to the panel discussion tonight at the event I was at tonight, which I'll give you a quick overview of. It's called the Feminine Weapon. I'm trying to describe it. But my friend Christina Weber started it. She's created it. It's her gift, her joy. She's done it, I think, 8 years now. And this is the second time in LA, and it's the first time she's done simultaneously one in New York and LA. She did them in New York before. And part of the evening was talking about honoring men and about that conversation we've been missing, because what happened with the... let me say this. What happened with the Me Too and the Time's Up movement... announcement, awakening, discovery, whatever we call it, a lot of men have been ashamed. Or have been shamed without the A on the front. It's been shamed. And a lot of men, us men, are carrying this shame for real, for some of us for no reason. We carry it as part of the male race, or the male population, even though we didn't do anything. It's almost by guilt by association. So I want to speak to, personally, the statement of how do we connect during the Time's Up, Me Too era, because it's up for discussion, and it was discussed tonight. And where I want to start from is, and I've done some talks about this, by the way. If you haven't watched my broadcast the last few weeks, in particular, I've spoken different times about the challenges by men and women to connect. Now, first of all, the way I'm aware of, is the Time's Up and Me Too expression started primarily because of men using their power in business or in employer status to harass and sexually hurt women. What's come out of it, though, is more and more men have become very wary of how to approach women, because even though we're not in the employer relationship where we have power, dominant perspective over women, in this case, we don't know how to relate. Because so many women now, one, have been awakened, thank God, and have been able to express their hurt and their wounds from the past, thank God, and men who have perpetrated this stuff are being punished, thank God. So that's 3 ticks. But for the rest of us, because to be honest, I believe the vast majority of men haven't done any like that. We haven't perpetrated this stuff. Yeah, well, Yvonne, yeah, seriously, 11:40 at night. I commit to doing these daily, and I hadn't had time to do it today. So this is before midnight. I keep my commitment, I mean, this is my integrity on the line, saying I'm doing daily broadcasts. And since I started doing these daily back in May last year, I haven't stopped, and I'm going to keep going. So that's why I'm doing 11:40 at night, because I had to do it. And if there's stuff to talk about, which apparently there is, I'll keep talking. If I run out of content, I won't do it. So there you are. So getting back on track, thank you, Yvonne, for the slight distraction. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you too. And watch my other broadcasts. I've got tons of good stuff. I was sharing actually with some people tonight about Friday night's broadcast, which is the one I would recommend you watch if you haven't watched it yet, which is number 239, I think. 238? 238? 238, 239. In that one I talked about, I was talking about why I do what I do, which touched a little bit onto this subject, but in the middle of it I had a rather surprising awareness, like an epiphany. I discovered for myself perhaps what started this whole thing for me in the first place when I was a teenager. So watch that. I'm not going to tell you about it now. So there, you have to watch that broadcast for that information or that sharing. But it was very interesting having an epiphany and a breakthrough on camera on a Facebook Live and not deleting it. I saved it and let it play. I played it through. And I think that works. By the way, that's the other thing that happens. If you haven't watched a broadcast for the last few months, especially the last 3 months at least, maybe 4 or more, a lot of times my talks get guided by something beyond this. Call it intuition, call it insight, call it still small voice, call it God, spirit, whatever you call it. And I just had an insight to relay this. So if I remember what it was coming through, it'll come back. I'm sure it will. So referring back to Friday's broadcast, that transparency, that breakthrough, and it wasn't much of a breakthrough, the fact that I didn't hold back and I didn't censor it, I didn't stuff it, I didn't hide it. I was being transparent. That may be one of the best things for all of us, men and women, to keep in mind when we connect. Because I don't mean you've got to have breakthroughs when you meet. That's a whole other story, that's a whole other level. But the thing I want to speak to is, I just want to make sure the power cable's in because my phone will die otherwise. Speaking more to the idea that we as individuals tend to bring a massive agenda and, for want of a term, a firewall between us and our partners that we don't share, we don't express, we don't speak the truth. So we hold back. And what happens is, and this is true for every relationship, this is again true for both sides of the conversation, for men and women, the connection has to go through layers and lenses. It's not just transparent, open, honest. You can see each other. Partly because we don't feel safe. Partly because we want to impress the other person. That's 2 main reasons we're driven by this. And thirdly, because we're wondering what the other person is going to think of us, which kind of impinges on the previous 2 as well. So, desiring to impress our prospective partner and our intention to not tell them the truth because they won't like us if they found out the truth are guaranteed to undermine the ability to have a truly healthy connection. This isn't like common sense, I know. Especially now with the Time's Up, metoo conversation happening very evidently, the more we can be blunt and real with each other, which means that, for example, if I'm talking to a woman and we're having a conversation and stuff, if I've got stuff to talk about that I have concerns about being received, I'll talk about it because I want to make sure that we're on the same page, and secondly, that I'm not assuming anything about what she's thinking. Because one of the biggest mistakes we can make is assuming what the other person's thinking, which is, as an error in any part. It's actually, which chapter is that? It's one of the chapters in my book. I forget which chapter it is. So it's that's always been an issue. That's part of the challenge of being in a conscious relationship, is being able to communicate consciously, not just assuming stuff. So in the middle of this new era, as I'm calling it for the sake of a bit of a word, the opportunity for us to be truly seen requires us to be truly viewable. We won't be seen fully unless we fully express ourselves. These are kind of obvious things I'm saying here, but when it comes to relationship, people seem to forget these simple things. Truly amazing relationships come from being willing to be that transparent, that open, that real, that communicative, that willing to go deep so you can connect with the other person. That's how we can connect. But it starts with you being honest with yourself. It starts with you being truly willing to see yourself as you are, in the mirror, in your head, in your heart, in your mind. When you start looking at yourself and seeing who you really are, take down the pretenses, the masks, the illusions of who you're not, and see yourself for who you really are, you are increasing the odds of connecting honestly and deeply with somebody else. Now, when you do that, you may discover the people you do know don't connect with you the way you want. Friendships will change that way. You'll start to find yourself walking away from relationships and friendships because they don't match where you are. Speaking from experience, and I've done that, that's happened to me several times over the last few decades. I've definitely evolved out of friendship circles I was in because I couldn't stay there. That's the price of growing. That's the price of becoming more whole. It's easy to stay in the oh woe is me circle of limited perspective, the happy hour, which is really the sad hour. People who just get drunk together because they don't want to face reality. I spent time there, I know. But the sooner you can become aware and willing to grow and become more authentic as you are in your own self, the sooner you can connect authentically with somebody else. But you can't do it unless you do this. Step 1, with self. Step 2, somebody else. It's kind of the way it works. So in this new era of metoo, time's up, the way we connect is to be honest. And honest, from the Latin, breaks down to own es, which is to be one with what is. It means to be present with what you're speaking about. Not an agenda, not a script, not a bunch of reasons, but in the moment honesty. I've given you like 4 principles now, so you should probably have some homework to do. So try these on. Take them to heart. Do these in your own life. Not tonight, but tomorrow, because this is already it's almost midnight. In the daytime. Try this on for size. First in the mirror with yourself, and then with other people. And be okay with the fact you might lose some friends. It's part of the growth process when you realize that the friends you're with aren't really friends. They're not really friends, they're friends. Put the parentheses, let's put the apostrophes in the right place, the quote marks. You get what I mean? I think that's it. That was it. It was meant to be a quick broadcast I want to get done before midnight to keep my daily commitment. I did start it before midnight, so at least I finished it just in time. Hope this helps you. I keep my broadcasts usually are pretty succinct intentionally to keep this to direct points so you can get some value out of it. Take it to heart, use it. If you know anybody should watch this, please share it with them. And if you want some help in this area, please reach out to me. I can help. And any questions, comments, and stuff you want to put in below on the replay, because I'm sure you're watching this later tomorrow, the day after I did this. I'll answer in the comments later on too. And as always, a reminder, please take care of yourself. You deserve it. Because if you don't know to take care of yourself, how can somebody else take care of you? I'll keep you thinking. With that, I wish you well. I'll see you again tomorrow. Daylight hours, I hope. And thanks for watching. Again, you can find these all on my business page on Facebook if you want to watch them all there. And I'll see you again tomorrow.